What's up YouTube, Demi here with a build guide. This is a Blade Flurry using the stat stick that we've been messing with. It's not done yet, so keep in mind that this character is not perfectly min-max. It's probably about half of what it potentially could be. But we are sitting somewhere around 13 million Shaper DPS, which is fine. I think it's balanced. If I had actual perfect gear, like, this is only a 475 DPS sword. If I had a 600 DPS sword, finished my scepter, perfect abyssus, like better crit multi rings, better jewels, I could probably hit, I don't know, 30 mil total Shaper DPS. But yeah, we just throw it together in like probably 30 minutes. I'm gonna do a quick Shaper run for you. It's fine. It's not min-maxed. Like, we could do a lot better, but I'll show you what we got so far. I am pretty squishy. I mean, I got 5.4k life with an impulses on, but like, the damage is okay. You don't need too much damage for this, right? Most things tend to die in a burst. And of course, I'm using plenty of legacy gear, so don't get too upset about that either. It's just what I have access to on standard. You should come play with us. Oh, she survived a burst. What the heck? I'm sorry. I didn't have flash subbing, that's why. Bop, 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 bop. What's this? Piety. Goodbye.
This is your final war. This is the crucible. The nexus of nothing.
Da, da, da.
Equilibrium of the end.
Was that one burst for the first phase? Alright, cool. We're doing it. Now let me just refill up flasks. I can beeline it. Sometimes my leap slam one-shots things, which is cool. I think when it crits, everything dies. But yeah, I was wearing the Belly of the Beast, but since I wanted to use Lion's Roar, which means I couldn't have a Shock Flask, I swapped off of the Shock Basalt to a Lion's Roar. And then I just put on Impulses. Excuse me. Please don't run away from me with my Lion's Roar knockback. Alright, let's try this again.
Behold the face of your unmaking.
Father, it's me. Let me help you.
Imperfection.
I hate that little pause. There's always a pause now because they changed the voice actor for Xana.
To me, exile, quickly.
Da da da.
Buy me some time.
Such a fun and interesting boss. Goodbye. As long as I don't like mess this up and die randomly, I feel like it'll look good, but I have a good potential of getting one shot. Because I have 5k life, but that's okay. That leap slam impulses explosion looks so good. But yeah, we will talk over all the gear and whatnot after this. The concept is just full LE conversion Blade Flurry though. You could use any skill you wanted for this type of build. You could use Reeve if you wanted to clear with it, swap the Blade Flurry for bosses. You could use basically anything really. As long as it hits with just your main hand, so you don't hit with the stat stick in your offhand, then you're good. So if you choose a claw or sword or dagger only skill, you can't hit with the offhand, so it's good to go. What? Oh, we still alive. My bad.
The end is the beginning. It must be perfect.
I wish I could attack and get frenzies right now.
Father, it's me.
Everything short of perfection is irrelevant.
We did it! Amazing, 10 out of 10. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk through the character. You're an Inquisitor for one real main reason here, and that's because of Inevitable Judgment. Critical strikes ignore enemy monster elemental resistances, so that means we don't need penetration. We can go all three elements. It doesn't matter what the boss has resistance wise. It's just you just ignore it. It's 0. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And then other stuff, you get some crit against enemies that are affected by non-ailments, multi against enemies that are affected by ailments, which mostly everything is because we are dealing all 3 elements all the time and critting all the time. It's great. Bunch of LE damage, crit multi, and then you get some more LE damage, attack, cast speed. This should actually, so let's do this. This is normal lab, crew lab, merc lab, uber lab. This gives you nearby enemies take increased elemental damage, which is a more multiplier, and then they deal less, which is you just take less damage. It's great. And over here you get attack speed if you've attacked recently, and attack damage if you've cast a spell recently, which is why I have the Orb of Storms Curse on Hit Assassin's Mark. But yeah, we're just full conversion. Skill tree is pretty basic. You pick up a lot of like melee damage, attack damage, accuracy, LE damage. I'll go over jewels afterwards. A bunch of life, all of the disemboweling wheel for the crit multi nodes. Bunch of life, bunch more life. Dual wielding nodes, life, dual wielding nodes. Leech here, Fall Pact of course. Some more life, some huge amount of crit while dual wielding here. And some attack speed, some life. This is your 40% conversion here, plus your 50% conversion from Fizz to Lightning. Gives you 90% total, and then I'm using a Vingtars for the last 20%, or last 10%, whatever. So I achieve a whole full 100% conversion. And then we get more life, the sword half of the node down here, because it's all crit multi stuff. And then some attack speed accuracy, because I don't have much accuracy on gear. Crit multi, and jewels. So jewels, you have a ton of mods that can scale your jewel. Or your damage, sorry. But you do want life on most of your jewels, but you can get things like physical damage, area damage, physical damage while dual wielding, attack speed while dual wielding, attack speed, attack and cast speed, crit multi while dual wielding, global crit multi, melee crit multi. Like, you got a bajillion options. Physical damage with swords. Make sure it's swords, not maces, because you're only hitting with your sword. So this is damage, life, damage, life. Like, it's pretty much all the same. I think all of my jewels have life. Yeah. Should. Yep. But yeah, there's your skill tree and your sentences. Pantheons don't really matter too much. I take Cannot Be Stunned. And I should probably fill out Peruta the Challenger. You can get all 3 of those little powers there if you capture all of the souls. But I haven't bothered to do that on this character because it's level 92 and I never play it. And then I have Soul of Gruthkul. You can take this, or you can take Soul of Tukohama if you want the stationary mitigation. But since we're moving so much, I usually just go with this one. None of these are really too important. You could take this, I guess, for the reduction of your blood rage damage, but it's fine. Don't worry about it too much. So, gear-wise, your main hand, because we are swords, you go for the highest PDPS sword you can get. This is not that. This is 475 DPS. You can get a 611 PDPS foil in standard. So this is like a little bit over, I think it's like 4/5 of the damage of that sword, so you could get more on that. But yeah, you want highest DPS on a foil because it's got the implicit crit multi. Physical DPS specifically, because we are converting, and then you want crit multi attack speed suffixes. Your offhand, your stat stick, as this is what this build is built around, basically. You're going to want something like this. This isn't done yet. I could get another 30% of physical damage added as a random element as a suffix instead of that cold damage, but pretty good for now. We have prefixes. Triple T1 prefixes, but this is effectively, as is, it's like 3 or 4 hatred auras plus crit multi. It's really balanced. If I take this off, I lose 2/3 of my damage or something. It's fine. But yeah, get one of these. If you just had the double rolls, physical is extra fire and physical is extra lightning, that's a huge amount of DPS as is, but obviously the more rolls you get, the more powerful it gets. I'm using an Abyssus because meme DPS. Legacy Abyssus has a huge amount of crit multi. You want Blade Flurry damage, and try to get a good like increased physical damage taken. Get the lowest number you can there. 40% is perfect. This one's okay. Chest piece, again, impulses, because I don't have a shock flask for my Vingtars counteract, so this gives me unaffected by shock. It also makes enemies you kill explode and deal 8% of their life as lightning damage. I think it's 5 to 10%. It just helps you clear. It's like a bleed explosion on a gladiator. Then it gives you damage if you shocked enemies recently and increased effect of shock, which means it's like easier to get more damage out of your shocks. Amulet. This is not a perfect amulet for this character. This is actually my Flying Purple People amulet, and this is his ring and gloves, but like for an amulet, you're going to want physical to attacks, weapon elemental damage, And if you want pure DPS, the non-chaos's extra chaos damage is huge. That's 13% more damage since we're pure Ellie. If we get 13% of that LB damage as non-chaos, it's just stupid. At every stage of conversion, you get that 13%. As you can see, I have a ton of chaos damage here in comparison to my Ellies. So I'd get that roll if possible. Other than that, you want life, you want attack speed, you want crit multi if possible. I don't have any crit multi on this, so I could achieve another 30%, 38% crit on this amulet maybe. Break 700% crit, I don't know, it'd be fine. Rings, probably opal rings over steel rings, but either one's pretty good. You want physical to attacks, you want weapon elemental damage, you want life. If you can get crit multi essence suffix, great. Otherwise just get resistance to stats, whatever you can get, or whatever you need, such as these. Gloves, I went for Legacy Insanities for my Leap Slam because I want to leap faster, or whirl faster, whichever you prefer. You can use either or because we have Mace Scepter, but I'm just using these. Enchantments, you're going to want Commitment of Fury here because it throws out a ton of projectiles that deal a ludicrous amount of damage, so yeah, it just kills things for you for free. It's great. Other than that, you want like Fizz damage, life, resist, attack speed, accuracy would be good. Whatever leech stuff you want. These physical attack damage leech stuff on these are actually useless for this character because we are full conversion. We don't have any physical damage to leech with, so it's kind of not the best choice here, but it's what I had lying around. And then belt, you're going to want Stygian, you're going to want life, you're going to want elemental damage with attack skills, and then as much resistance as you can get suffix-wise. If you had a Elder Stygian, you could go for like melee damage while using a flask, I think is an option. Life recovery rate would be great to help you leech faster. And then your jewel itself, you're going to want life. Damage with swords stuff, anything related to swords is fine, or just Ellie damage. Accuracy is great. 2% of Fizz added as chaos if you've crit recently, I think is another one. That one's really good as well. And then boots, whatever boots you need. You don't really need the enchant here because you're going to need a lot of resistances and stats otherwise. But if you do want to go for the enchant, go for the flat lightning if you haven't killed recently. I think it's 1 to 160 life, or 1 to 160 lightning if you haven't killed recently enchant for boss DPS. And then for general mapping, you could go for Leech Enchant. But these are just resistances. They help me fill out my res and some stats that I was missing. Flasks. Taste of Hate gives you Fizz damage as extra cold damage, which is kind of the same as our stat stick combo. So it's just like another stat stick stat. And then it gives you a ton of Fizz mitigation as well. Diamond Flask with Bleed for the double chance to roll crits. Like the way Diamond Flasks work is based on your crit chance. It'll roll once, and if you don't crit, like it'll roll twice basically. And it'll take the higher of the two rolls, which is great. Then Lion's Roar, because we are Fizz 2 Ellie, 35% more melee physical damage translates into 35% more damage. Edziri's Promise, 25% of Fizz is extra chaos, 15% of Ellie is extra chaos. Sounds kind of familiar, right? It's the same as our Elder Amulet roll right here. There's just a ton of extra damage as well. And then I said earlier, Vingtars, 20% conversion. That'll give you your 100% Ellie conversion with your Blade Flurry. You can use any skill you want, but that's what we're using right here. This is a legacy version for the instant leech, but whatever. Doesn't matter. But yeah, that's the character. It's kind of broken. It's not min-maxed perfectly, and as I said, we could get a lot more damage. But I think the 13 mil DPS that we currently have is probably more than enough for most things in the game, especially with the fact that there's no more Reflect. So yeah, this paste bin will be in the description below the video, as well as my Twitch, which we are live on Twitch right now. So hi everybody. But if you enjoyed this, leave a like, leave a comment about how much you hate me, and I'll see you in the next video. That'll be me out. I forgot a minor detail, which is literally all of the skill gems that you need, which I guess is being the paste bin. So yeah, let me just go over those real quick. Blade Flurry links. Blade Flurry, melee physical damage, elemental damage with attacks, increased crits, Fizz to lightning, and then last link Conk Effect, swap to AoE for clear. Random other links. I have a Frenzy, faster attacks fortified. You don't need this, it's just for boss DPS. I have Blood Rage, again, you probably don't need that either, use it while mapping. Hatred, Aura, and we have a Herald Device, Curse on Hit, Assassin's Mark. This is because your power charges, and Hatred is another more multiplier, so it's great. And then I have a random 1-link Orb of Storms linked to the same Curse on Hit Assassin's Mark setup to curse bosses with Assassin's Mark, so they just take more crits, more crit damage. The Ancestral Protector gives you more attack speed while it's active. That helps you hit your 6-stack faster, which is really, really nice for making sure you're optimizing your DPS. You can also use Ancestral War Chief here if you wanted. It's totally up to you. I prefer the attack speed here. And then movement skill, I'm using Leap Slam, faster attacks fortify, linked to blood magic, so I don't run out of this mana issue while mapping. And then of course you have your cast when damage taken setup. Cast when damage taken Immortal Call, increased duration, and then Ice Golem. I'd probably recommend this to be the same level as your golems. You don't have to self-cast it, because it is kind of annoying to keep doing. But I don't have that fixed right now. I think that's the only thing I forgot. I don't know if there's anything else that's in the pastebin below, so just check that out if you're missing anything, or if I missed anything, or you have any questions. Thanks to chat for reminding me to actually do that.